Hi guys, welcome back to another production meeting. Alex is here.
Hi,
Yay!
I'm here because probably people realized from the last video that my Wi-Fi is being really weird right now. So I'm bumming his Wi-Fi right now.
Yay. Hi Ryan.
Hello. I'm
Yeah,
not on anybody's Wi-Fi.
yeah.
Just
We need to
starting with
sabotage
lightning
him so he
instead.
can come back here.
Right. We're gonna kidnap Ryan and we're gonna do this like a group thing.
Mhm.
We're gonna get an office somewhere, Ryan, so all of us can just hang out.
Soon.
Soon?
Totally.
Yeah.
Okay. That's Ryan.
I was gonna say I think he's on his way.
Is he on his way?
980,000 more subscribers and we're good.
Yeah.
I know, right?
We can do it. We can do it.
Make a
No
bunch
idea
of
how numbers work there, but let's just that seems like a good number to get in office.
Yeah.
just make a bunch of fake accounts and subscribe.
Yeah, right.
Subscribe. Yeah.
Uh, anyway, so today we're going to talk about Furiosa. That's going to be our movie today. And then we got some news, some trailers, some Alien trailer, Venom trailer, and a reboot of The Incredibles and Finding Nemo for some reason. But starting with you guys, what did you guys watch this week?
I think Furiosa was the only thing that I caught. We're starting to catch back up. I know I should have like, dude, what are you doing with X-Men 97? In fact, we're about halfway through it because we just watch it sporadically. And Ashley was like, because she kind of went ahead in front of me. She was like, you gotta, it's like episode 5 or something. She goes, apparently a bunch of nuts stuff
Yeah,
happens. And she's like, in 22 minutes, it's crazy. Like, I need you to catch up. I was like,
yeah,
okay.
you should.
Yeah, so I like that so far. It's I was like, is this the same theme from the original show? And she was like, yeah. I was like, it's badass.
It is badass.
So I did that. We watched Furiosa. Still playing Final Fantasy because I loathe myself. It's like Elden Ring as far as like it's a love-hate thing. It's a great game, just it's super difficult. And so I think that's pretty much it. That sums up because when did we last talk about our last thing? I can't remember.
Like
Um,
a week ago,
yeah,
right?
I was gonna say it's been not that long ago, so
Yeah,
that's all I've done. I don't know what you guys have done. Probably Ryan's probably done way more than us.
probably. Ryan, what
Ryan,
did you do?
Uh Other than Furiosa, I watched Strangers Chapter 1.
oh yeah,
That's it.
Wow,
I think it's the least homework I've ever done, or at least extra credit I've ever done.
right?
Even with nothing opened last weekend. Our AMC that has the glorious 22 screens is about 40 minutes away in good traffic. So, but just chilling on movies a little bit. And then we were sitting around yesterday and we were like, wait, we should go see a movie. And then Rachel, of all people, was like, why don't we go see Strangers? And I was like, sure. And I did not think, I mean, I haven't seen Tarot. So I was really, really hoping to experience the stair step of horror movies this year, the downward stair step. But I did not think Strangers could be somehow worse than Haunted Pool and Haunted Teddy Bear. And boy, it's so much worse than Haunted Pool and Haunted Teddy Bear.
Oh no.
Um, so if you permit me just a moment to just rant on this movie for a second. First off, this is not a prequel. Um, Despite the fact that it's called Chapter One. So this is the third Strangers movie called Chapter One. And I guess that's just because they've made two more already called Chapter Two and Three that are going to be released like within the next year, which is great. I'm so excited for two more of these movies because this feels like someone was digging through the trash and they found a bag of shredded paper and they were like, "This is a script. I'm going to repiece this script and it's going to be my movie." And it was just the first Strangers, but missing like anything interesting. Those pages are just gone. Uh, it's just the worst with the least likable characters and no actual horror or suspense or anything interesting whatsoever. And it's just silly. And we actually laughed quite a lot, but there were three of us, and there were two people like way in the back of the theater. And so we at one point were like, okay, we have to see how long we can go just without laughing. It was a really tough challenge because there were just so many really
Incredibly bad moments.
stupid. It was incredibly bad. It was like there was a whole moment of suspense. Uh and I'm not gonna spoil anything. Who cares? It doesn't matter. But like there's this whole thing where they're like crawling under in a crawl space under the house. And there's even like an okay moment with like a nail that's like trying to be a quiet place bad. And they're like trying to be super quiet, and then it like pans and the stranger's like walking right above them, and then they like get through it, and then like it's like a whole 5 minute sequence, and then they finally like get out of the house, and they're like, okay, we have to go now. And I'm like, the quiet rule still applies here. You were 5 feet that way and you had to be quiet. And it's just so many moments like
Yeah,
that.
really.
It's like, oh, let me just like there's like here's a stranger. It's like, let me just and I'm like, who are you doing this for? No one can see you except for the audience. Oh, it's
It's
so stupid.
it's kind of like I don't know how you I didn't really watch Big Bang Theory that much, but I remember this one like oddity. They would have like kind of like what we're doing, FaceTiming and everything like that. And Sheldon and I guess Amy was his girlfriend. They were doing this.
Feller, yeah.
They would do this thing where like, okay, so Ryan, you're obviously talking to like both of us at the same time, but you can look through the one like lens, like, and you don't have to like. But they would do this thing like, hey, like you would like if you were talking to me right now, like I'm out of screen, and you would turn your head towards that direction. You'd be like, and I'm like, that's not real. That's not realistic. And it's like,
Yeah.
so that sounds like
My
what this movie did.
Yeah, and I have to share one more moment. I'm oversharing because we only have one movie to talk about. But my favorite now, this happens in every horror movie ever. And you go back to Halloween and you're like, these are some classic peekaboo moments, and it's great. But there's moments in this where it's like, oh, they're here.
There's friends.
And like I'm just picturing like him just like crouching down behind a toilet and being like, oh, I hope she doesn't see me. And I'm like, dude, you're a killer in a mask. Where honestly could you be right now that you needed to be standing there and then suddenly just duck? It's just so funny to think about like the logic of some of the stuff that happens. Somebody's like, hey, I think they're going to the shed. Can you just sprint there real quick and just wait there until they show up? And like 20 minutes later, they show up and the person's just in the shed. And I'm like, why are you in the shed? Like it's really, really, really bad. And I mean, there's a lot of quality that I could really pick on. I don't feel like picking on the quality of the movie because it's also really bad. It's just a stupid movie. You will hear from it again at the end of the year because it is currently the worst thing I've seen all year.
Wow.
I didn't see Pooh, Blood, and Honey, but Beekeeper is officially displaced as my new hate on movie of the year. Not that I
Wow.
think I've talked much about Beekeeper at all, but that I just so we were keeping track of best of the year last week, and I was like, I got to share just my stranger's experience of this, but is a really bad movie. Great time. I highly recommend it.
That's how you know that it's like it's made your reign at the top because you want to talk about it like and how
Oh, I
bad it
could I could keep going. The only thing I'll say is that the actual incredibly disappointing thing is that like I don't like the original Strangers. I don't think it's a good movie, but I get why people like it because there's this thing where it's like they're in a neighborhood and these people just show up and there's no motive, and it's kind of this could happen to you. And this movie, they're like in the middle of the woods making bad decisions, and I'm like, oh well, as long as I'm not an idiot, I'm fine. Like as long as I don't go to a cabin in the woods. I've never seen that in a movie before. It totally misses the point of being a Strangers movie. And I think that was actually really disappointing. Like it could be a stupid movie. Alien Covenant. I love Alien Covenant, but everybody in it's an idiot. But like you could be a stupid movie and a good movie at the same time, I think.
yeah.
And this just completely misses the mark of like what even was the best thing about the original Strangers. There's another one. I don't remember it, so I'm not gonna talk about it. The middle Strangers movie. But anyway, Strangers, 2 out of 10.
Oh
I
man.
chuckled once. For real. There was a good joke. And I was like, oh, that's gonna be the thing to save it from being a one. But
Wow.
I don't know.
Did
It's
they
not
market
one worthy. Hmm?
did they market the first one that way that they were like this could happen to, like it was like
Yeah.
based on a
Gosh,
true story, right?
this does that too, where it's like the same thing where they're like so many crimes happen every year. So many have happened when you started this movie. Since you've started this movie, this is one of those. And I was like, this is not. This is not. This is not one of those. That's barely one of those. The original is barely a true story. This is nowhere near a true story. Unless it is, and then I take all my complaints back.
I hope it's not.
I hope it's not too, because that would mean two people really, really stupid.
Oh,
Man.
awesome.
Well, welcome to our review of Strangers.
I didn't
Yeah.
want.
Well, let's
No,
not
I
talk about
also didn't
challengers
watch
again
it.
today.
Yeah,
Oh
that's
yeah,
fine.
I wasn't gonna be like, oh man, is that one of the things we're going over?
I
Oh,
had to mention it again, but I figured we just let it go because we both know how incredible it is. So
what? Oh, challenge. Yeah.
yeah,
No, see, we're not going on this tangent here, but I will say, I was like, I'm pretty respectful of Ryan's opinions. A lot of times we see not eye to eye on stuff, but it's like, okay, I get that. You appreciate this thing over this thing, whatever. And I was like,
Mhm.
no, this is one of the moments where I just know that he's flat out wrong.
a full 7 point spread.
Yes, it's absolutely like this is
Oh,
like I don't think we've ever disagreed about a movie more.
now
This
I
is
don't know. Yeah, now I know we're not going to talk about it, which is what we keep saying and then talking about it. So I know we're not going to talk about it, but Alex, you're actually wrong, and it's amazing. So
oh man.
I forgot to watch it.
Clint, Clint, when you
Uh,
watch it, we're
I
gonna have to re-review it, the three of
Okay.
us.
I know we
We'll
need
make
you to
it.
be like, and then you'll probably split the difference. He'll probably be
I
like, yeah, it was a
probably will.
5.
Yeah,
You probably will. Yeah,
probably will.
yeah. You'll see the good and the bad. And Alex is blinded by hatred for Zendaya, I guess. So
Why Zendaya?
It has nothing
yeah,
to
Alex,
absolutely zero to do with that. Ugh, it is the fact that this movie, the direction of this movie was just like,
so good, so
oh,
focused.
Alex will be back.
Clint, move us on. Move us
Yeah,
on.
we're moving on. Because I watched the first season of House of Dragon because it is coming out on the 16th. It's the second season to be released on the 16th. And so I got nostalgic, and Amy and I are now going back through Game of Thrones
uh,
because I got her hooked on House of Dragon, and I was like, here you go.
well, just remember to stop at season 6.
That's correct.
5.5.
It's 5.5.
No, I'm just kidding. So, I mean, generally, I kind of agree mostly with the general opinion on like the ending couple seasons.
I didn't think it was that bad.
I didn't either. I don't think it's particularly good, but it's fine enough, in my opinion.
I don't. I like how we're going to transition to a show that wrapped up 6 years ago. So I was in the car and when my wife and I got lunch, and I got Taco Bell and she got Chick-fil-A, and I got like this Cheez-It crunch wrap. It was really good. I don't know if that's a thing at all Taco Bells or this one, but whatever. It was in West Virginia, and I was like, that was a good crunch wrap. Like I really enjoyed the uniqueness of it. And she was like, "Hey, you want to finish my fries?" And I was like, "I'm kind of still hungry." And then I followed that up with some cold Chick-fil-A fries, and that's Game of Thrones.
I was gonna say before when you were talking about strangers. I was like, dude, you didn't put it in a food analogy.
Right.
I'm totally lost.
Strangers is like if you made McDonald's in an easy bake oven.
Wow.
Wasn't that good for the first play? It wasn't that good in the first time. The idea of it, I'm sure some people like, but then you make it out of like fake food and call it food and give it like a $30 million gross
and then
so far.
you get a Happy Meal toy.
An unhappy meal.
I feel like I have to defend this show now. Like I
No,
so the very
I
like last season, I just didn't like the series finale because that was like here's all this great stuff. Wow. And I was like,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
We're gonna well it's like you said, it's like 6 years. So we're gonna kill one main character because it's like, okay. And then we're gonna lose a dragon for no reason, and then like one other character is gonna be named King of Westeros for some random reason. It was just like, you seem good. Here you go. And then one
yeah.
got sent back to where he wanted to go.
I often see because every once in a while I'll get like an itch to scratch. I'm like, man, I can't remember what happened in this scene. I'm gonna look up this specific scene, and they're talking about how man the what is it, the Battle of Winterfell? The one where with actual like between them and the White Walkers and everything. They're
Oh
like,
yeah.
man, that I wish that was something like, man, I really wish I could have seen it.
Yeah, let
Something
me recreate it real quick.
like See, and that's what's crazy. I don't get that. Like, I mean, I get it, but I don't get it. Like the whole like it's just totally dark. I don't know. Maybe I just had like good lighting when I watched it. I was just like, I don't know. So, but
It's just
I'm kind of in Clint's camp. I don't really think it's that bad of a finale. I mentioned it
it's
to
okay.
I mentioned it to Matt, and he's like, "Oh yeah, some this sucks." Blah blah blah. And I said, I think they were rushed when they started
Oh
doing that
yeah, completely.
Rush
because
themselves.
Yeah,
well,
and they did it to themselves. Yeah.
and Matt goes, yeah, rushed my, a double man, because he was like, yeah, this and that they had a blah blah blah, and I was like, well, I read that the actors, they were starting to become more a little bit more household names, and the CGI alone of the dragons being fully grown, the budget was starting to get kind of high, so they were like, we need to kind of wrap this up.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's not bad. It's just, and so when you did you rewatch season one of House of the Dragon, or is this the first time?
This is the first. I started it and then I finished it. I was like, I'm in the mood. It's like gonna be coming back, so I was like, So I typically do it like with some shows. Like I'll wait until like all the episodes are out.
Yeah.
But like unlike like the Acolyte, no offense, but when you leave, I'm gonna be like, click.
Alex, you can come over here and watch it.
There
Oh,
you go.
okay. It'll just take me what, 10 hours?
6 hours.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh,
6 hours.
hours. Eh.
But like there's just some shows that I'll like House of the Dragon where I'll kind of wait, avoid spoilers until
Yeah.
like all the series like the season finale is on, and then I'll probably like rush and watch up until like the season finale or whatever.
Yeah.
But other than that, no. Like yeah. So I watched that, and then I got her hooked on it because she watched the first episode, and then like when it first came out loud like 2 years ago, and then she watched it, she liked it, and then um it's been a while since we watched because I was waiting on her, and then I just like, are you gonna watch this? And she said no. So I started watching it, and then she just happened to like walk in and sat down. I was in episode 5 of 10, and she was like, "Oh, this is really good." And I was like, "Well, this is connected to this." Da, 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 da. And she was like, "Okay." And so I was like, "Do you want to watch Game of Thrones after this?" And she's like, "Yeah." So now we're in episode 3 of season 2. We started last week sometime, so it's not bad.
Kind of like how Ashley and I, what season are we coming up on The Boys? 4?
4, yeah.
Well, I was watching 3, and she just was like, I don't have any interest in it. But she was on the couch while I was watching it, and she was just like,
Yeah.
like one of those like, oh, I wonder what. And then she got hooked on it, and then she went back and she watched the first couple of seasons, and so now we're like,
Oh yeah.
we've been fully caught up for a while. So, yeah, I like House of Dragon. I just didn't like how they have. I can never remember the name, the actual character's name. Targaryen.
Renera?
That does not narrow it down.
I know, it was like the whole.
Well, the one main
Every character's last name is either
That's
Targaryen
the
or
House of the
Hightower.
Dragon. It's like all of them are Targaryens.
right, but like the main focus is the young girl,
Yeah, that's
Rhaenyra.
Rhaenyra.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when she's young, what, she's like 15 or something, and then they like fast forward to where
Yeah,
she's
they
got like,
time jump a couple times.
yeah, and it just was like, at first, I mean, they probably were like, well, people will get it. They'll figure it out. They'll get the context. And I was like, yeah, but I'm like, it's still kind of annoying.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was just like, is this a different person? Is this the same person? I don't know.
Yeah.
So that was probably
Well,
the only thing I disliked.
I don't disagree. I think it's tough too because like I knew the time jumps going into it and kind of what the stretches would be, and then I was like, oh, I get it, and I was like, Kristen, why are you still 12? Like, grow up. Everybody else is.
Right. Yeah, bro. Okay. We've talked about a show that's been over for 6 years apparently. So let's get into the news. So I just read that Peaky Blinders is getting a movie on Netflix.
Ooh.
Yay, for all you Peaky Blinders fans out there.
Yeah, all 4 of you. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, it'd be Cillian Murphy, the cast, I guess.
I almost said that, and I was like, wait, I actually don't know if he actually is in the show. Like
Oh,
I couldn't remember if it was him or somebody else I was thinking of.
I've watched the first 3 seasons. I mean, it's not bad. I mean, if you like Sopranos-esque like shows like that. I mean, so I mean, it's not bad. I think I like it because it's only like 6 episodes.
I mean, the closest thing I would say I've done to that is Breaking Bad, and is that even close? Not really, probably. Kind of ballpark.
Crime,
Eh.
drama, yeah.
So, I mean,
I say
maybe.
crime. Cooking meth is not crime, apparently.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I don't know. Ryan is okay with it. The new Alien Romulus
Good for
trailer
him.
and poster came out. There we go. Yes, I'm loving this trailer. Absolutely loving this trailer. The poster is not bad too. The only thing I have a problem with the poster is it looks like a little bit like the Evil Dead one that he did. The red and
Put them
black.
side by side.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
This
I
make some intentionality in your future decor. That's what I'm gonna do.
Nice.
Hmm.
But did you watch it?
No, by the time I realized that it was out, I was at work and had no time until now. But I
There's
like
probably a joke to
driving
be
out in the
made
window.
about watching trailers at a movie theater, but I can't really put it together in my head.
Yeah.
I get it.
I work at a movie theater. They don't have the trailer idea, Ryan. It's on the internet, not at our place. We don't know what the internet is. Who are you?
He may not. New Venom trailer and poster as well.
Yay! I did watch that one. Funny enough.
That one you watched.
Yeah, because I want.
Put on your phone.
Yeah,
Oh,
because I was in an act of self-loathing at that time. No, well, I don't hate that trailer.
Yeah,
I've shared my opinion.
yeah,
Hmm.
not horrible.
It's
I
very
do.
much like the previous Venom trailer. It wasn't bad. The movie is awful. I'm not expecting anything.
I've learned my lesson. I think this looks terrible because it looks like the last movie
Yes.
or the movie before that, where it's like, quip, 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 eat some heads. And I'm like, just stop.
Yeah, but now there's
It's
a
not.
horse Venom horse.
Yeah, that honestly, only cool thing in the whole trailer. Like the last second, I was like, okay, yeah, there's some interesting concepts you have, but we're doing just another big goo monster as a villain, I guess. So there's those interesting ideas to work with a venom horse and nothing else, I guess.
Yeah, their way of going about these is, normally if it ain't broke, don't fix it. They're like, if it's still broke, keep trying to use it. Maybe it'll work again.
Sony doesn't see it in
Function.
quality; they see it in money.
Hey, this one's worked at some point in a time, at some point in history, so we should try this.
Probably in the 90s.
Yeah. Stupid movie.
Anyway, moving on. The Lara Croft anime trailer was released, and the Netflix premiere date is October 10th. Cool, I guess, if you like Lara Croft anime. I mean, it looks like Castlevania, so that's what I'm kind of stoked about.
Yeah. I would say
I'm
that's
not gonna watch it right
probably
now. But
like the drawing factor.
It's only like 20 seconds long, I think. If you really want to
see, when
watch
you were saying about that beforehand, I thought you were talking about it being announced, and I was like, Clint, we've talked about this.
Wasn't the Terminator one like just released too? Like its trailer?
But you got me. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
Ryan's watching the trailer right now.
There's too many animation that are like, hey, this is coming out, and it's hard to keep track of. Like, oh yeah, we're doing that. You just watch, and it's like, nope, nope, because I think you mentioned it, Assassin's Creed. So,
Oh yeah.
yeah, that's as much as
Yeah, Netflix.
yeah, that's not happening. That's not happening
That
anymore.
looks,
We're
that
still
looks
waiting.
dope.
It does. Looks pretty good.
Huh.
Now another trailer that Alex has to watch because he missed this one.
1, 2,
Yeah.
3.
Oh, I brought this up because Kip. I feel like we have to kind of like clear the air with Kip. We're not attacking Kip on this whole scenario, but he did post something about. If I can pull it up. Sorry.
What, the 100-day thing
Yeah,
for
like
Inside Out?
yeah, Inside Out was gonna be released. The Disney was gonna release it for only 100 days, and then they were gonna put it onto streaming. From my understanding, typically it's like 45 days, isn't it?
Yeah, somewhere around that. I think.
Okay.
I think it. I don't know if that's contract.
Because Monkey Man's now going to Peacock right now, like on
Ye-
the 14th.
Yeah, it's really soon. And I was like, great, time for me to kind of not watch it again.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I just think I was like, 100 days. I was like, yeah, by that time, what? That's a little over 3 months. I'm like, that's I didn't know. I
That's
think
pretty long.
I think his thing was that it's like, man, give movies a chance or give theaters a chance. And I was like, dude, that's way plenty of time. What are you talking about? Nobody's
Yeah.
like we're gonna be lucky
Yeah.
if we get like a handful of
I'm
people
gonna put
and
it
it
up here. Somewhere.
and so yeah, that was my thing. I was like, dude, that is more than
Yeah,
enough
it is.
time. Yeah,
It
100
says
days.
they are giving no chances for movies, but I understand. Well, I mean, like I said, I think like typically it's like 45 days, from my understanding, is like, because I think with Disney, Thor: Love and Thunder was like the longest, and it was like 50 or 60 some odd days before
Yeah,
it went
it was
into
the
streaming.
longest, all right.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, I think I could see, like them how I could see it having like the longevity of Elemental with actual box office success early on. Like there are lots of movies that have done that. Even recently, Top Gun was out for like what, like
Yeah, it
five
was what
months or
from
something like that.
Memorial
And if
Day
it's
to August that
yeah,
year.
and
Yeah.
if they're able to keep it in theaters and like it's doing well and they don't want to put it on streaming for 100 days, amazing. But I mean, they have 3 weeks before Despicable Me opens, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm like, that's a huge cut of the market right there. So
Yeah,
I
because
think they'll probably wrap up in that 45 days.
I think
Yeah.
4th of July weekend is I think the day prior to 4th of July. I think that's when it comes out. So yeah. Yeah. 100 days is plenty of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plenty of time.
Sorry, Kev, not to attack you, but like that's pretty long.
Yeah.
Moving on. Also, like he posted something about The Incredibles and Finding Nemo getting a reboot. Why do we need reboots of this?
No original idea. I don't know.
I'd rather see live action remakes than remakes. Like at least do a live action remake for no reason instead of rebooting it.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, that's weird.
Not that I want that either,
Incredibles
but
and Finding Nemo.
Yeah, he put something in here about like Finding Nemo and like The Incredibles
Well,
getting a
Incredibles
reboot.
that's one you could fairly do. If you can do like all this MCU stuff, you could do that. That's no problem. It's the Finding Nemo that it's like you're gonna have to do the whole Lion King treatment. Now I know I'm like one of the rare people who actually does like the Lion King live action, but
that might be one of the other big ones we disagree on.
yeah,
Mhm.
I know we probably don't disagree. Disagree. Yeah, we
Disagree.
disagree. No, we don't disagree quite as much on that one as we do Challengers. But I know I don't understand the hate a lot of times. I know it's the whole flowing air thing for. I know. I gave it like an 8 or maybe even a 9. I can't remember.
Wasn't it in
It's
your
trash.
top 10 that year?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like
People tuning in at any point, any random point, will have no idea what year this was recorded.
yes. So this is what I
Somewhere between
thought
Game of Thrones and now.
of,
Right?
of Ghostbusters 1984, it was really great when it came out, a couple weeks ago. But yeah, I they're not making live actions. They're remaking these like in an animated sense.
So the post is Pixar's president Jim Morris revealed that Pixar's roster of content is being considered for a reboot, with Finding Nemo and The Incredibles as strong candidates. He continued, he hopes that this will remind audiences of what they once loved about Pixar.
Do you
Now,
guys remember when Incredibles 2 came out in 2018 and made like $1 billion because we liked it and we
Yeah.
wanted it and I would just give us a third one of each
Yeah, I
movie.
know. Really.
well, and like there's a comment on this from Nick, and he said I don't know about a reboot will work, but as far as The Incredibles, there's more you can do with the show. You
Yeah.
can do prequels, The Family in the Future, with Jack being a big name, needing to learn humility or something since he's so gifted or whatever. There's options for The Incredibles, but not a reboot. As for Finding Nemo, I just don't see retelling the story is viable or continuing at all with it. Maybe a spin-off with Crush and Squirt. That's it. I think there was like rumors of that like a while ago, of like a show or something with Crush and Squirt, but yeah, I don't see doing like a sequel or anything to Finding Nemo. I mean, to be honest with you, if you really need to find what you loved about Pixar, watch the originals.
Yeah.
I want to I want to pitch
So
this right
good.
now in case anybody from Pixar is listening. Like, just your Nemo's growing up, and you get like a little bit of a Marlin has like a midlife crisis and feels like that empty nest kind of feeling, and then we just do a Finding Marlin, and then we have one per main character. It's kind of half for adults and half for kids, and it sounds like a too dramatic of a plot. So only Pixar, of course, could make that work.
Yes, I completely forgot there was a Finding Dory.
Yeah. I
It's
don't.
fine. It's
Yeah, it was
cute.
fine. But that's yeah, I forgot about it.
The
But
octopus trying to get to Cleveland.
oh,
Great character.
yeah. Um, Speaking of series, 300 is actually getting a series, I guess, series in development from Zack Snyder. Um, I guess.
I'm on the fence. That's probably my favorite Zack Snyder. I'm maybe a little, for lack of a better word, gun shy from all his recent stuff. So it's always just as pretty much anything in this world. It's a case of what have you done for me lately,
Right.
and it's you know not very much recently. And I mean, like I love 300, but I'm like this. I mean, you got what was that movie? The zombie one, Army of the Dead.
Dead.
Yeah, that was. I liked the first half of that, but then the second half just really was crappy. And then given what Rebel Moon, I've not even watched part one or two because I've heard such glowing reviews from everybody. Um,
Oh, we didn't watch that for this.
I mean,
I forgot
I
about it
didn't.
too. I completely forgot.
Yeah.
I didn't at all because everybody crapped on the first part and then they're like, oh wait, there's more.
Yeah, I haven't watched the second one. I
So
don't hate myself that much.
I is it who is it supposed to be through? Like Amazon or Netflix or somebody?
I think Andrew said it was from Warner Brothers, but
So that would be Max, I guess then. But
Warner Brothers Television, Zack Snyder's in talks to direct and executive produce the series.
yeah, I don't
But
know. I feel more worrisome than excited from that. I'm just like I'm gonna like not be excited about that. Give it a chance when it does come out, probably in all the episodes once they're out, and then hey, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If I'm right on the money and thinking that these are gonna probably suck, then nothing lost.
But my thing is though is like it's a graphic novel. Like, is it supposed? Are you gonna do like a mini series? Because from my understanding, I read 300 and I seen the movie. Like I read 300 after watching the movie, but he got it pretty close. I mean, like, extremely close.
Yeah.
So like the graphic novel is not very long.
Hmm.
I mean, like when they did the Watchmen like series or miniseries, if they consider that, that's more like because there's so many layers to like the Watchmen. So when they did Watchmen, the series on HBO, like that kind of made sense. But like the 300, the graphic novel is not very long.
So there's not much to work with.
Not
But,
really,
but
but
you're forgetting one thing. What that is missing, as evidenced by something Zack Snyder's done really, really well lately, is that movie does not have nearly enough slow motion shots of grain. So we need a lot more of that in the series.
Oh yeah, really, that's true. The slow motion will stretch it out into like 2 seasons.
The whole thing's just gonna be it's gonna be slow motion.
Conversations are going to be in slow motion.
Oh,
You know, that, I'm surprised we didn't think of that joke sooner. Um, yeah,
Zach do better.
regardless of quality, I don't know. I'm gonna go in not caring about it, and like I said, if it's good, hey, pleasant surprise. But if it's bad, Nothing lost.
Cool. Wolf's trailer came out. Bunch of trailers. I'm on board with this. Like I'm bored with this. You didn't see this one either. Did you?
I did not. I don't even know what this is.
Clooney and Pitt.
I
They're
promise I watch stuff at some point, guys. I do watch
they're
things.
like fixers or something, right, Ryan?
Yeah, yeah. It's like Fleming is this Hollywood fixer who
Oh
shows up for
yeah.
this job, and then they also have Brad Pitt as this not Hollywood fixer. I'm thinking of Hail Caesar, but like he's this criminal organization like fixer, and then another one shows up, and they're like,
What is this, like
"There's two
Ocean's
of us."
18 or something?
No, actually, it's just the two of them.
Oh,
It's
okay.
it's directed by
Ocean's
John
2.
Watts, who did Spider-Man,
Yeah, yeah, okay,
the
okay.
last few Spider-Man movies.
Huh.
And Cop Car. If you ever watch like another movie with his outside of the Spider-Man movies, watch Cop Car. That's a very good movie.
Who is that? Kevin Bacon?
Yes.
Huh.
You've seen
Interesting.
it, right, Ryan?
Yeah, I actually have it in my cell bin downstairs.
Nice.
I'm not a huge fan of it.
Oh,
You want it?
he was supposed to be on my side. But
He's like,
It's
glow.
fine.
Yeah,
It's
man,
fine.
it's great. You have it? Yeah, I do. I don't really like it.
I remember liking it, and then I went back into it, and I think it just kind of falls apart at the end. But it's all right. I like it. It's cute. Cute
I
is the
like
wrong
it
word
enough.
for
cute.
it. Cute is the wrong word for it.
Okay. Anyway, watch the trailer. I'm gonna start sending you trailers directly.
I know.
Watch this.
It's like, watch it, gosh dang it. Watch it now. Give me your impressions.
Did you watch the Moana 2 teaser?
I did.
Okay, that one we watched.
You and everybody else,
Yeah.
apparently.
Cool.
I'm waiting for the poster to come in so then I can be like, no, I'm just kidding. I don't do that. No,
I did that for the first one.
because we, yeah, really. Yeah, we still actually have the other one like still pinned up in our break room.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah, it's still right there.
Nice.
No, because didn't we talk about Moana being like they were originally making this a series and then they tested so well. I think Ryan said this that they tested so well so that they're like, you know what, we're gonna, you know, stitch it all into just a sequel, like a movie, and so apparently it's gonna be really good. And it's gonna
I
be the big Thanksgiving title.
yeah, I do have a sneaking suspicion that tested well actually means we're losing money on streaming and in theaters. So putting this in theaters will make more money, but tested well is much shorter. So
Yeah. Yeah,
Bob
just
Iger's losing money.
I think I don't know if this is one of your points later on, but Horizon, you know the what's his name?
yeah, the Kevin Costner movie with
Kevin Costner.
the
Oh,
12
I
minute
think
standing ovation and a 30% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
yeah, okay, because you were saying that you're like, it's tested well, not even tested well, just tested, and yeah, people don't like it,
Yeah.
and there's
So that
three
was
of
the
them.
weirdest thing. I was like, okay.
I'm like,
Why are we getting even a standing ovation then?
from that one
It's like they're all in on it. It's like a contest. It's like the first person hits. It's like the last person standing wins a car secretly or something.
Or you just tell Kevin, do better.
If you say something really, really good, we'll give you a car. You can
They're
meet Kevin.
all they're all his friend, and then they all turn around and they're like,
This sucks. Okay, so the last one is that there's a rumor that Clone Wars is getting a live action miniseries. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. I'm not really sure how much more you can draw from that well, but live action, why not? I guess.
I mean, nobody would know more than me just having recently watched that entire series.
Yeah, so
Yeah. Why not? I think, you know, if you focus on like who would you focus
yeah.
on Ahsoka? Like would you just do it like the entire thing? Would you kind of funnel it into
I don't know. I mean, like the episode of Ahsoka did really well. That they were having like Clone War flashbacks. So I think that's probably what sparked this. But because who played Ahsoka in the Clone Wars flashback? Because it goes back to when she was younger. So it was Greenblatt. She was I can't remember her name, but she was Gamora in the
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
In Infinity War, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? That's funny you say that because that face looks like pretty similar. I was like, oh
Yeah,
yeah,
she was in Barbie too, I thought.
huh?
Anyway, but I think that that's what kind of like sparked this, and I don't know, like I
I
don't
mean,
know if
honestly,
you
give us anything Star Wars and we'll watch.
probably.
Pretty
I
much, almost.
yeah. I know we already talked about this and we had some mixed feelings about it, but I could not think of a better suggestion than the Last Airbender model of just play the hits. Go into it, use your three actors, de-age two of them, and just play
Yeah,
the hits because Clone Wars is great and there's some stuff you can't do better. But can you do it as good in live action? I mean, adjusted for quality and the fact that that exists already, I think so. So just
Mhm.
give it a big budget, 10 episodes, play the hits of like the first two seasons and be done and see how it goes.
yeah, that's spot on. Couldn't agree more. Yeah, because you don't need
Because
to.
then adults will watch it and they'll know what's going on.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So we're on board if they do that. Wait.
Yes, on board.
I'm bored no matter what.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They could do it with sock puppets and I'd watch it.
right. Speaking of
Star Wars.
not, not sock puppets, but did you watch Tales of the Empire?
Crap. Nope. I take everything I just said back because I forgot that existed and I haven't watched it yet. I haven't. Oh, I know the whole show is what, like 2 hours or something like that.
Something like
I
that.
I I just have not had uh both time and had it in the front of my mind and been able to talk Rachel into it, and then had time on my own when she doesn't want to watch it with me. So
So, but you're like you owe me because you're the one who took us to strangers. So you kind of owe me.
that's right. That's right.
So there's
Yeah.
a leg to stand
Sit
on.
down and watch Star Wars with me.
Right? There you
Yeah,
go.
it's like here's a punishment for you, Rachel. Come on, Star Wars.
Right. Anyway, do you have any more news,
Not that I can think of. Mm-mm.
Ryan?
Oh no.
Okay.
I mean, other than the tragic state of the box office, which we're about to get into. So
I can see
I know
why.
we don't talk about like the box office numbers, which is totally fine because it's really depressing. But I didn't even see Garfield on principle of the fact that I don't want to contribute towards its not success, but just it's upsetting watching numbers this
Existence.
past 2 weekends.
I don't want to give money to its existence. I don't think that Chris Pratt needs to be playing Garfield.
Yeah, but that's how voice casting is now. It's like,
Chris
hey,
Pratt.
yeah, you know what? Instead of actually going and having audition, let's just get Chris Pratt. You know, why not? You know, our Barbie reenaction animation version of what the movies. Yeah, Chris Pratt, he can be Barbie totally. Hey, I'm Barbie.
Hey,
I'm
I'm
like,
Barbie.
yeah,
But yes, it was probably pretty dismal. I heard that it was like the worst since COVID.
Yeah. Worst Memorial Day since Casper the Friendly Ghost, and the worst. This weekend was the worst summer weekend since sometime I could not remember when. I'll just pretend I didn't start that thought because I can't remember the end of it. It was bad summer week or bad weekend. If almost beat Furiosa, and they had to like if was second place and Furiosa was third place until they adjusted by $0.4 million. It
yeah,
was bad.
Wow.
yeah. I mean, if kind of carried us for a little bit, long like we had 100 like plus turnout for one single showtime in its second week when we didn't in its first week,
Yeah.
which
And
which I found just incredibly insane.
yeah.
Hmm.
It's holding well. It's original.
Yeah.
I'm so happy for it. I didn't really like it, but I'm so happy that it's doing better than anything else, I guess.
I so wanted to like that movie. I did. We talked like Ryan and I talked about it last week, where it's just like I really wanted to like this
Oh
movie,
yeah.
and I watched it, and I was like, John, I really wanted to like your movie, but this is kind of dumb.
Go
Do
back.
better.
Maybe if all the imaginary friends were quiet, you know,
That took me a minute.
quietly.
It's a stretch. You're stretching there, Alex.
Oh my gosh.
A little bit.
Okay, moving on to Furiosa, a Mad Max saga.
Yay!
Um, so Furiosa is about a girl that gets kidnapped from the Green Place. Well, she doesn't get really kidnapped, does she?
Yeah.
Kind of.
Okay,
Picked
so
up off a bike, kidnapped right away.
yeah, sure, why not? And she meets Chris Hemsworth, Dementis, who's the head of a biker gang, and they try to find said Green Place and end up somewhere completely different. And saga ensues. Um, who wants to go first in this?
Ryan, go ahead.
Go ahead, Ryan.
I can go first or last. It's up to you guys. I'll preface by saying I've seen it twice. So however you guys want me to, wherever you want to slot me, I have as many thoughts as you want or as few thoughts as you want.
As many as you got.
Okay. So yeah, I did not like this film the first time. But I also didn't like Green Knight the first time, or Nope the first time, or Boy and the Heron the first time, and all of those movies were my best of the year.
Huh.
Uh, I liked this the second time less than I liked those the second time, but I did not like this the movie the first time very much because, and this is something I'll preface, no matter what we say about this movie, go see it because it's healthy for the box office, and it is nothing like Fury Road. And even when it is, just pretend it's nothing like Fury Road, and you'll have a good time. Because if you go into it thinking it's anything like Fury Road, you're going to be like, why is this long, slow, more narrative focused, and in chapters? And it's just such a weird experience going into it, expecting it's honestly, I thought it was just such a weird movie overall. I think we're gonna have to jump around because I think I'm ready to segue out already because I want to go back to some detailed thoughts. But it is such a weird movie overall to go into because one of the things I think that doesn't work. I liked it overall, but one of the things I think that doesn't work is that it feels like a world we've already been in. And I mean, every Mad Max movie, even Thunderdome, feels like it's a whole different kind of environment and takes a different story approach. And there's enough differences in Road Warrior and Fury Road and technology. And so it's like going back to like the Citadel is like, oh yeah, it's these guys again. And there's some great sequences there, and there's a lot of fun there. And I like the politics and how all that plays out. But it's like the familiarity of the setting of the movie is so weird because you're like, oh yeah, I'm in, back in your comfort zone. Except that the tone and pacing and nothing else in the movie feels like Fury Road. So it's like you're where you were, but not how you were.
Mhm.
And it's just such a weird movie to be in. It's a good movie. It's just very different than Fury Road. So I'm gonna segue out and get back into some details because I think I can touch on a lot of details having seen it twice now. Um, my main takeaway: Chris Hemsworth is a standout, and I give it an easy 7 out of 10 just for him. I already feel like I could watch it again, so when it comes out, I could easily see this bumping up to an 8. Could see it as best of the year, but I've got lots of problems with it. So
Yeah.
7 out of 10 for now. And yeah, we'll get back to me.
I'll go. Yeah. I mean, I think the general feel is gonna probably be the same. Yeah, that's one of the glowing things about this movie is Chris Hemsworth. Like totally like I think when you play an unpredictable villain, not that he's completely unpredictable, but like his character like he could be like totally sincere but completely psychopathic about like and he'll completely do a 180 from and I think he did great with it. It was entertaining, it was fun, and it was a good source of conflict while also like kind of like you're not rooting for him but you're also like I want to know more about you so I kind of want you to win sort of deal. I think you're right. This isn't too like different from Fury Road, so it doesn't really stick out. The whole chapter thing, yeah, is kind of a weird take. I felt like I was watching a Tarantino a little bit in
Yeah.
that regard. So, at first the movie was a little slow, but I thought the pacing was pretty good up until say like that chapter 5. I was like, okay, this movie's about what 20 minutes long, maybe even a half hour too long. Like, and I think we were talking about it, and I think it was because you couldn't cut out one individual scene from the movie. you could cut like a minute from here, a minute from there, a minute from here, and then there, boom, there's your 20 minutes right back. So I think the scenes were held on a little too long, and that was a consistent like just bugaboo. Um, and the fact that I mean, this is kind of a spoiler. I mean, I was told this before going in, and then I completely forgot until I actually was seeing it unfold. But Anya Taylor-Joy does not make an appearance until what, like a third into the movie, if that early.
Just about.
So I thought that was odd, but like at the same time, I was kind of interested in her like, childhood and kind of seeing where exactly, she was going, or we didn't exactly know where she came from. We did, but we didn't. And
Mhm.
so, that was good, and everybody performed well, and I think it is really cool how there were a lot of the original like cast from Fury Road, like I forget what's the name of the guy with like the white hair and the mask, something Joe. What was his name?
Immortan Joe, which is actually funny because that's actually not the original actor who played him.
No?
Yeah,
Oh, he
yeah,
looked like it to me. I mean, it's probably easy to kind of, make up that, but like I think
Uh,
Rictus was the same guy. A lot of those guys I think were, so maybe I guess I'm a little inaccurate, but like I think.
well, it's not you. He passed away, so he would be the same actor if they could have it.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
yeah.
So
Well, but still, okay. So kudos on them for at least, making it look like it was
Oh
him.
yeah.
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 So, yeah, there's a lot of good from this movie. It's very entertaining for most of it. It just is a little too long. I think that's probably its biggest, downfall is that it needs to be just trim every little bit out, and then you're golden. You're at that 2 hour mark and it's good. I sat there and I'm kind of like right in the same area as Ryan. I'm like 7.5. I could probably easily be talked into an 8. I have only watched it the one time. So I probably would pick up things that would make me go, oh, you know what? I like that. 8. So I'm gonna stick. I know I try not to do 7 or half scores, but I'm gonna stick at 7.5 because I liked it. I would watch this
Alex,
again.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah,
You're you're fine. I'm right there with you. 7.5 is what this movie deserves, I think.
yeah, but like you, I'm like, I could be talked into an 8, or I could, if you make a good argument, I'm like, yeah, I could see an 8 being. This is one of I think this is in my top, at least top 3. It might be in my top 2 from the year.
Hmm.
I struggle with like, did I like this more than Dune? And then I was like, no, that's kind of a crazy question. No, I like Dune more, for sure. So it probably goes Gentlemanly Warfare, um, Dune, and then this for that rounds out my top 3. So yeah, it's fun. I don't understand why it didn't like do that great at the box office. I mean, I don't
I
quite get it.
I agree. I mean, Clint, maybe you can make sense of it, but in my mind, back in 2015, 2014, people were like, "Where's the Furiosa movie? She's great." Now it's like here.
Yeah, what, 10 years later now?
Everybody
It's like,
asked for this.
yeah,
Yeah.
really. So I mean, yeah, so 7.5. Glenn, what do you think?
Um, I don't know. I guess this conversation, like we talked more about Game of Thrones than like this movie. I well, seriously, because I like it's a seven. There's nothing really to for me. There's nothing really to nitpick at the movie, and maybe Ryan, you can go
I
like
got you guys. I'll walk you through the
yeah. See,
nitpicks.
like and like
I'll,
and it's probably like why we could like bounce each other off, like bounce off of each other with this, because it's just like yes, I do believe like I know that like one of our meetings we talked and I talked about this with Matt when he was still on, where it's just like there was one I can't remember the movie, but there was one movie that we talked about where it's like I can't specifically say why like what you would cut out of this, but it is like I think there was like with this movie and like the other movie there, I can't put my finger on it, but if he just edited just a little bit off of like you said like just shaved a little off this little off that whatever, because yeah like once like chapter 5 hit and like that last 30 minutes I really did look at my watch. I was like, geez, this movie's still going on, and I thought it was a little long. And like Fury Road, the pacing was great until then. Like it was just like,
Mhm.
oh, okay, I guess we're still doing this. And yes, I loved Chris Hemsworth. I think that he needs to play more villains. Um, I think he was kind of not really born for it, but I do think that he did very well in this movie. Um, and that like his performance shot me up to a 6. right off the bat, and then I think the action and stuff that was carried over from like Fury Road and stuff was kind of like put me up at that 7 mark as well. Um, but yeah, like there's nothing to nitpick. Like I think if I was to nitpick, like I would nitpick Anya Taylor-Joy because like she doesn't really do anything, sort of, kind of.
Yeah.
She
I,
gets fewer lines than Tom Hardy did,
right,
and about as much screen time if you account for the length of the movie too.
yeah. I think we've seen more of that kid than we did her. Like
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, for
she
sure.
had like the kid had more to do than like like Anya Taylor-Joy. And I'm not saying like she did bad in this movie either. I think that like her again nitpicking at this one. I think that like her losing her arm was a little unceremonious. Like in Fury Road, it's like this big deal. Like she's got this arm and like she lost it. It's a mechanical arm, and it was just like in here it was just like shaved off of like
From a
yeah
rubbing
from
up
a
against a
tire.
tire.
I disagree with you,
Wow.
but
I
only because I like and I like Solo. But
oh, yeah.
when I go into like prequels, I'm like, oh, how much of the Solo checklist are we gonna do? It's like name check, jacket check, gun check. And I was like, oh, how much of a big deal are we gonna make of everything? And it was so quick. And I was like, oh, okay,
Okay.
cool. We're going. Like, let's go. So I thought
Okay.
that was just one of the few things where it was like, but I get it too, because I think it could have been for me, it was like that was yeah, that was like minor spoilers. Her left arm had some significance, and I thought it was going to be a bigger deal, at least like personally. And it ended up
Right.
being in a moment that was a bigger deal personally. So I agree. I think it could have been a little bit more like of an impactful moment.
Yeah.
But I like anything that comes quick. It reminds me of like there was another moment in this movie where I thought she was going to lose an arm, and I was early on. I was like, oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
We're going to get to it later. And I
Right.
can't remember exactly what that was. And I know that that happened in Fury Road too, where spoilers for a 10-year-old movie, where I can't remember the names of all of them, where she's like hanging off the door and she falls, and then he looks and she's like still up there, or something like that, and then she falls again, and it's like a great like one, oh, okay, she's fine. Just kidding. And I think that's a great thing that Miller does in this. He just spreads it out over like an hour.
Right.
But I agree too, because it feels like that like could was gonna it feels like it was building to more.
Yeah.
But I think Ryan makes a good point where it's like you don't have to put every single aspect on like a pedestal of like, oh, and so because like, I talked about it. I'm going to incorporate Ghostbusters into this actually too because what those are goofy 80s
The one that just came out a couple weeks ago in
yeah,
'84,
yeah, 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 yeah,
the
yeah.
only one.
Ghostbusters 2,
To be
that would be
clear,
such a cool
there
thing to do.
can't wait. What could go wrong?
No, but like in all seriousness, like those movies, they're just kind of like throwaway comedies. They're about hunting ghosts. It's goofy. It's got Bill Murray. It's blah blah blah. It's more slapstick than like you know graceful. And like they take Afterlife, which I love. Don't get me wrong, I like that movie. They just make like such a big like, oh my gosh, this was the thing. And it's just a little tool or something, blah blah blah. And so what they're doing, it's like they don't have to do that with everything. With Solo, they just make, oh, he just got the jacket this way. He just got it this way. And then, you know, I would say I'd want a little bit more of a like, for lack of a better word, graceful way of like having something like rubbing up against a tire. I mean, sure, fine. I was like whatever about it, but like maybe you could have done something a little bit better. But Ryan's point is valid, I think, where you don't. It doesn't have to be like super cool,
Yeah.
but so that is one thing. I don't. I think my bigger nitpick is, and we both I think agreed on this. It was this is kind of a small spoiler. Is it does happen at the end where this kind of like leads right
Right.
into Fury
Yeah.
Road, and we don't. I think we agree that there should have been like okay, this happens, but like there should be some type of gap in between this and Fury Road.
I agree. So that segues into a weird problem I have with this movie, which you guys both have touched on. Uh, it is, I think it's both too short and too long. Oh no, sorry, too. I emphasized the wrong half. I ruined it. Whatever. It's both too long and too short, and I think there's so many weird moments in this movie. And we're gonna go to my. Is it okay if we go into some minor spoilers?
Yeah, yeah, let's do
I
it.
don't there's a couple things we could major spoiler. I don't see the need, but like there's some things that I didn't know in the trailer, and so like uh there's this other for her job title, Imperator, uh, and like they have the scene together where they're defending the rig, which I actually want to get back to because I want to ask you guys' opinion about that sequence. And then they get through the whole rig action sequence, and he's basically like, hey, you can go off on your own, or you can stick with me, and I'll teach you the ways of the wasteland. And next scene, he's like, "That was a good training session, huh?" And I'm like, "How much time has passed? And where was that sequence?" But I'm like, "But now
Where's his
I'm
trainer?
adding to the runtime," and I'm like, it's so it feels like a movie. It feels like a theatrical cut of a really long movie, and it's like, and this is there are other examples, I'm sure. Did you guys ever see the movie Kingdom of Heaven?
Mhm.
Uh,
Um,
so,
you guys ever see the theatrical cut versus the director's cut?
no.
No.
Okay, so it's my second favorite movie of all time. You guys should watch the director's cut. But so the director's cut of Kingdom of Heaven is like a full like hour longer. But instead of cutting out plot lines, they cut parts of plot lines
Uh-huh.
so that they could have everything. And it does not work. It doesn't work. There's so many things in that movie that just are just there and they're not. And this felt a lot like that to me. And Alex, you were talking about the ending where it's like it feels like they were going to build up to more of a gap, or it feels like because for a moment there, it looks like they have like the whole original cast back, but then it doesn't matter. It's done. And I'm like, is there a time? How much time has passed? Is this a day later? You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, I
it's
agree.
weird. And I think the movie just prioritizes its time very badly for a movie that I think flows really well. I agree with you guys there. I think it just has a really bad time management skills. Uh, so yeah.
Well,
Um,
yeah, because I mean, I think that like what Alex touched on, and that's one of my nitpicks is that it leads right into Fury Road, but it's just like, how did we get from this to Fury Road? Because there's this whole thing where she's like taking these brides out of there, and it's like, okay, how did we like get angry with Morton Joe? Like, there's questions now. Like, what happened here?
Yeah, because
yeah.
I was saying that I was like, because in the beginning of Fury Road, him and Furiosa, like he's making this grand big announcement. He's like, I've got this person who has, served me well in years, and then this person who we don't know, and this person. But like, you get the sense that there has been this like rapport, like a great respect between the two, and they don't really know each other by the end of this movie.
Yeah,
Not at all. I mean,
yeah,
very little. So it's like you need that time in order for that kind of relationship to like make sense. The fact that it just kind of leads right into it's like,
yeah. I was just
yeah,
like,
no, no,
okay.
no. This needs more time between the two. Another
Yeah.
gap.
Yeah.
So
I think there's a couple moments like that where I think the audience is supposed to assume based on some tiny little details. And
Mhm.
like, so there was two moments like that. There was one where I assumed I was like, okay, here's in my head what happens over the next 15 years. And then I was like, why am I doing the work here? Like I'm watching the movie. Why am I doing the work in my head about like how long this process takes and how meticulous it is and what the world looks like after these events. And the other one was like where there's some narration by a history man who's like, oh, the 40-day wasteland war. And I was like, did the war start earlier or did it start now? And people just drove in circles for 40 days? Or is this whole thing like the 40-day wasteland war? And I was like, just give me an easy answer. Like, I don't want to think through it. Did it start with Hemsworth showed up or did it start right now? And it just, everyone drove around for 40 days for some reason. That was just a nitpick I have, but I do not understand the weird choice of like explaining that then.
it's kind of like, did either of you watch American Fiction?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh no,
The I can't what's
it's
his
on Prime now,
what
actually.
what's the Ryan, what's the main actor's name? Um
Jeffrey Wright?
Jeffrey Wright. I knew it was
Yeah.
Jeffrey, I couldn't remember the last name. Um yeah, it's kind of like that, like fantastic movie. I would recommend it. fantastic
Yeah.
movie. I just think the ending sucks because it like leaves it open ended for like your interpretation more. And I'm like, no, I don't want that. Just tell me what happens. I don't need this artsy fartsy thing. I know it's an Oscar winner, but still. Yeah, I'm
I
like,
don't disagree with you.
I don't need to make the movie. You need to make the movie and tell me what happens.
Yeah, and it's not, I agree with you, Alex. I mean, I like the ending of that movie more than you, but it's something too where it's like, did you want us to read into this, or did you just write it and just move on? And we're now
Yeah.
picking up because you didn't want to do this in more detail. And I think there's some moments in this movie that are just like that, where they were like, oh yeah, we're gonna stop focusing on Furiosa and deal with wasteland politics for about an hour and a half. And I was like, okay, shifting gears, so to speak. And then by the end I was like, I'm still in that gear. When should I have shifted back? Because I think I should have shifted back. Which I guess brings me to my, if I'm walking us through some notes. What do you guys think of like how much the movie focused on like the dynamics between like the three different towns and the politics of it all?
Um, I liked it. I thought it was a good blend of each. Like I think what I it's kind of like who runs each, like who runs Gastown exactly. It's just kind of like it was kind of not explained too well to me. Maybe I didn't quite understand it. Maybe it is, but I like the focus in each, like what the bullet factory area. I love that whole, with the rig and everything. That's probably my favorite scene. I love that.
I
And I told
agree.
Clint what was crazy about that. Like, I mean, um, what's his name? Dementis?
Mhm.
Dr. Dementis.
Dr. Dementis. He's hiding behind that big tower pillar thing, and he uses one of the guys to like as a shield, like, hey, this guy's actually trying to get nope, it's me. And he's trying to I was like how great is that? I know it's so simple, but I don't know why I liked that entire scene and I thought it was shot well. I like the exposures of each individual area, the actual like not role, but like who governs them a little bit more. I feel like that could have been a little bit more polished, but that's also if like the trend here. If I'm just nitpicking, I liked it. I
All we
wish,
have is nitpicks.
yeah, it's like nothing's bad. It's just like if we want to just kind of take that and just
Right.
like put it in the limelight there.
I mean, I did enjoy the world building,
Yeah,
because I mean, if you look at the first three, four, Furious four, so
yeah,
first four Mad Max movies, I mean, you get a kind of a limited exposure to like the wastelands of Australia or whatever, and so, um, yeah, giving it a little bit more world building and stuff like that, and to even like expand on the Furios or not the Fury Road kind of aspect of Mad Max, was interesting. I will say that I'm gonna sound dumb right now, but it was just like I always wondered like why none of them used a horse. I was like, but then I thought about it. I was like, yes, they are in the desert, but I mean, there'd be water somewhere. I don't know,
yeah.
but that was just me. But yeah, I do like the world building. I think that like the clarity of like Gas Town and what was it, Bullet Factory,
Bullet Farm.
Yeah, I don't know if there's another term for it.
It's the Bullet Farms.
Bullet Farm. That's what it was.
Farm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Bullet Farm, and then the Citadel, and there was like, was there a third town, or was it just those three?
Just those three, I think.
Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah, I mean, I thought it was, I liked the world building, what I liked about it,
Mhm. Yeah.
but it could have been, yeah, I think it could have been a little bit more clear on like what was going on.
Yeah, I mean, it's
He was
not bad.
he was just like, I'm here and I'm taking over, and then like you said, Ryan, it was
Yeah.
one of those like cut scenes where it's like, okay, cut, and then we're like, he's running into the ground. I was like, didn't he just get this? Like,
Okay, I'm glad you
Yeah.
said that. That's the exact moment I'm talking about. I was like, okay,
I
got here and now you're running it. What?
yeah,
I
Okay.
have two theories about the Gastown sequence, and I love both of them. So I'm gonna get you guys' input. Do you guys think, and I know one's probably right, and the one I'm gonna say the one that's probably right first is that, and I really love the character. like Dementis as a character. He has so many little moments where it's like you're such a broken person, and I want to know
Yeah,
more, but I also don't want to know anything about him. But
right.
it's like I get the sense that he is a really great public speaker and a terrible leader whatsoever. He's just a terrible leader. He's bad at delegating. He shoots his own people to make a point. Like for not even for a point. He just it's moments of he's moments of genius, but he's such a terrible leader. And he's like, I get gas town and just like, have these potatoes. And I get the sense that everything. But I was also like, do you think he staged the whole sequence in Gastown to make people think he was desperate, so he could like manipulate the Citadel into giving them more supplies? And then he takes Bullet Farm right afterwards, which is a pretty. I guess I'm spoiling them. I said minor spoilers. Now I'm going through plot points, but like he seems both brilliant and completely an idiot. So I was wondering if you guys thought like he staged this whole riot happening in Gastown, or if that's just because he's a terrible leader.
Well, I think that just is the glowing reason for like why the character is so good because it's unpredictable. It's more or less, I talk about not, leaving up things for our interpretation, but at the same time I'm like, yeah, this guy's either completely insane or like he knows what he's doing, or he's just a lunatic and just like seems to stumble, but he's doing it in a fantastic way.
I I kind
Yep.
of want to say it's both.
Yeah, it's
I
a good
think
blend.
some of it is just luck, like just kind of like dumb luck.
Yeah. I think I haven't I wanted to immediately be like he's a very Joker type figure. He's not. He's like if Jack Sparrow were a villain. I think
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's
like
pretty accurate.
you can't tell if he's making it up or not, and he just gets really lucky all the time or very unlucky all the time.
yeah.
And I just love so many moments. This is a segue. Uh, I think I think both performers do an outstanding job at what they're given. Chris Hemsworth I think is given a lot more to do, and so like obviously he just chews up the scenery. He's amazing. And I think there's so many moments where he just sells every scene he's in. But I think I really liked a lot of, and it's something I wish the movie had gotten into more. Like if they release a 3 hour, 15-minute cut of this movie, I'm buying it. Um, but I think Anya Taylor Joy does a great job with beats. And there's two moments where I think it's just so hard to sell like little things because so one of the first scenes she's in, um, I started by saying I was going to ask a question and now I'm just detailing. But there's this moment where it's like one of the first scenes she's in and they're building the rig and she's basically like you get the sense that she's focused on like getting out, getting out, getting out, and then the rig engine revs up and she turns around so quick. Then I was like, it's such a great little moment of like maybe this is why she stayed for so long. She was meant to drive this rig, or it's maybe this moment of destiny where she's like, this is how we're gonna get out of here. Something in that. I just love that little beat right there. Because it could have just been a look like, oh, that was a loud noise, but it was just like this little destiny between the engine and the character. And then when she gets pushed out of the rig for the first time, and she basically is like, oh heck, I'm free. But it's such a weird like hard sell of like this character's been stuck this whole movie so far, which at that point was like an hour and 30 minutes in or something like that. And I think she just does such a good job with tiny little beats that could have just been just nothing. Um, Instead of like the big, I guess she doesn't really have that many big acting moments. But I think I just wanted to talk about those, I guess, because I love those two moments. I think it's so hard to sell like little moments like that. And Fury Road does a great job with it too, but I thought she was great in those moments.
Yeah, I thought she was solid.
Yeah. I think that with Anya Taylor Joy, I think because it's like the less that she has to say, the more like theories that we can come up with, like what her motivations are. Because obviously her actions obviously speak louder than words. But it's like you were talking about, like the middle action scene that takes like that 15-minute chunk where she's on the bottom of the rig, and it's like, is she leaving? Like that's what I kind of thought was like, is she leaving?
Hmm.
And then she kind of gets sucked into what was going on, and that's how I kind of interpreted it. Was like she kind of was leaving, and then she got like she doesn't want to blow up, so she's like, well, I might as well like help out as we're going along. And then she kind of got sucked in, and then she's like, well, I'm pretty good at this. Now I'm gonna be the protector of this rig or whatever, and then she falls in love with her trainer, which doesn't have a training sequence or whatever. But yeah, and then it's, it kind of goes from there. So like that's what I was thinking is like what you said is like is she listening to the rev of the engine because she knows that this is her way out, or is this like some sort of destiny where she wants to be a part of this?
Yeah.
So speaking of that middle action sequence, Clint, I've like hijacked your video today. I'm sorry.
It's fine.
I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry.
Not so.
I've heard some conflicting things. Some people love that action sequence because it's reminiscent of Fury Road, and some people don't love it because it's reminiscent of Fury Road. And sequences like the Bullet Farm sequence and even like the tense gas town sequence kind of have a different feel to it. What do you guys think of that big chase with the rig, with the helicopter lawnmower people?
I'm kind of in the middle of it because it's like because Fury Road is basically a action road trip. It's like yeah, it kind of does play reminiscence, and it's almost like you said earlier about Clone Wars, where it's like George Miller was like, this seemed to work. Let's do 15 minutes of this, and like the Bullet Farm sequence and stuff. But I think they're different enough. Like even the 15-minute one where she like the rig one, um, I think it's different enough to where it's its own thing, and that's why I do like it. And I think that he does like he's gotten really good at like filming these action sequences.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I do think that it kind of is a little too reminiscent of Fury Road. So, but not enough to where it's like this is copy and paste. I think there was enough of it to kind of like change it a little bit.
Yeah. Pretty much same sentiments on all that. Pretty spot on.
Last thing to ask you guys' opinion about. Well, second last thing. I thought the score was super inferior to Fury Road. I don't know if you guys listened to it too much.
You know,
I
I
liked.
sometimes there are those moments where I'm like, you know what? I feel like I'm in tune with this, like I know, like I this is not good. Like I kind of could tell that it was like as far as like being different and like, you know, I think I'm thinking what you're saying. Most of the time I'm just like, oh, this just is music. But this time I was like, yeah, you know what? I can tell this is kind of inferior.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was talking to a friend of mine who's out in he wasn't in LA at the time, but he was on his way out back out to LA, and we were talking about Tom Hulkenberg, and he was like, "Yeah, he's not done a good score since the first Mad Max," and I was like, oh, "That's not true." And then I was thinking about it, and I was like, "It's not true. He's got some okay pieces." And then I was listening to this, and I was like, "Oh gosh, it's true, isn't it?" Like he just got it's just like that first soundtrack is like lightning in a bottle, and I like moments of it. I like the didgeridoo because it feels Australian. It's
Yeah.
simple, but like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
like using that. But the transition I had mentally about asking that was like that chase. I was like, okay, here we go, and the music was like dun 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 dun, and I'm like, do something else, do
Yeah.
anything else, do anything else. You have instruments, do anything else, and it felt like that for 8 minutes of the music, and then it got interesting near the end.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, I felt like
um,
that was just on repeat the entire time.
it felt like maybe it was supposed to feel like an engine, but that I don't like that decision if that was. um, the other thing I that I kind of wanted to pick out because obviously I think it's a great looking movie, like cinematography and everything. Do you guys think the visual effects were a little green screeny sometimes?
Mm,
Oh yeah, completely.
I don't think I noticed much.
Fair. I thought it was just maybe it's
Okay.
because like there was more happening, so there's less you can put your actors physically through than like Fury Road. I
So, like,
just
what's a glaring
I
like?
have to like I kind of have to call you out on this. There's one scene where like I think it's Dementis that he like reverses or something in like the car, and it like you can it's like a sorry I'm like trying to block us here, but it's literally like
good framing, you know.
you see it and he backs up, but the camera's on him and it's like he's turning with it, and you can tell that like behind him is complete green screen.
Oh,
So yeah, I kind of have to Sorry, but
No, I
it,
mean,
it was I was like, okay, I didn't know if it was intentional because it's George Miller and he kind of uses those weird camera effects or whatever.
yeah.
But there are some scenes that it's just like, oh, we're not in Australia anymore, type of thing.
I agree.
I
I
guess I
agree. I
missed
think,
it. I may have not been like,
Oh yeah,
I
well,
don't know.
what you got
Maybe
to do is watch Fury Road and then Furiosa. I watched
which is what
Fury
I
Road
did.
again. Yeah. Oh yeah. You're fine. You should know better, Alex.
I know. I guess
Um,
I should.
but I felt crazy. So I watched Fury Road between my two viewings of Furiosa, and then I went back and I was like, it's not as bad as I thought it was. But I think it's just so much of Mad Max was like shot on a set, or not like on set, like they had trucks, and it was like they never needed to fake a backdrop. And then they had moments where it was like, okay, obviously you shouldn't have Chris Hemsworth drive down a mountain, but how are you going to make that look like, And so I think they just I think it was a little more digitally reliant than Fury Road. I think it shows.
yeah. I think that there were some points in the movie that were glaring that were just like, okay. And as you said, I think with this, maybe it's because like they didn't really want to do Fury Road, and they had so much problems with it.
Hmm.
Because from my understanding, it took like what 3 or 4 years to actually
Yeah, I think so.
film all of it.
Oof.
There was like, well, I think like because they're always moving and sandstorms and stuff like that, and like I think they said like monsoon seasons and stuff. It was just like it was a really hard shoot, and so and because they were on location for so much of it, and they I think they kept going back after like projects and stuff like that. So
Mhm.
I think they were less reliant on it, but this I think because they needed I think because they had such a need and a want for it, I
Yeah.
think that they needed to get some of the shots like quickly.
Well, I mean, it
Yeah.
paid off because I mean, like generally speaking, and I watched some random YouTube video about, just general action movies or maybe just general movies. That Fury Road is like not even just like one of the like best Mad Max movies, but like one of the most well shot and produced action movies just in
Yeah,
general. So I mean, I guess it paid off because
yeah,
I mean, I'll catch Matt every once in a while. And go, man, you know what? I forget how much I enjoyed Fury Road.
yeah. It's
Because
like
of
number 5.
yeah, it's really
Um,
up there.
it's yeah, it's regarded as one of the best action movies ever made. But
Yeah.
My 36 of all time.
yeah,
Hmm. Yeah. So
Just under Muppet Treasure Island where it should be. I just thought it was a weird spot on my list and I had
that
to
is
share
that
that.
is my
nice.
that is my favorite of the Muppet movies. I'll
Yes.
give you
It's
that.
isn't it everybody's
Yes.
um
I mean, it's got Tim Curry. I mean, my God, man, it's awesome.
Is he still alive?
Yeah, but he's had health issues over the years. He's
Yeah,
had like I think at least one stroke, maybe two.
that's sad.
guess what year we're in, guys?
I
1997.
know, like
Um
any random part in this movie.
Legend came out last week.
wow, what a bad movie. I can't wait for a director's cut. I hope it's so much better. That kid Tom Cruise, he's got no future ahead of him.
No future at all.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
Yeah.
7.
Agreed.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
in that neighborhood, yeah, I'm right there with you, pretty much.
yeah.
Yeah. I would now say 4 or 5 years from now, they're like, all right, we're gonna make another movie. Are we happy or glad? Or happy or sad?
They are making a Wastelands movie.
Oh, they really are? Oh, I didn't know
I
that.
don't.
Yeah, that might not happen after the last two weekends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Ryan, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe they said like Tom Hardy had said that he's like signed on for like 2 or 3
Yeah,
movies.
I think so. I think there was something where like he was contractually up for it, but that like expired, but he was willing to renegotiate because he had this interview where he was talking about his behavior on set, but it was like 5 years after that. Um, I think I think if we do get another one, they'll probably bring Tom Hardy back for the sake of like continuity and being like, hey, we got our lead back. I don't think that's what led to Furiosa not working. I think it's just you got to go back to what's safe, right? It's like that's why Johnny Depp's coming back from Pirates. It's not confirmed, but it's gonna happen. Um, you know, but yeah, I think I'd like to just see something totally different.
Yeah.
And this was like tonally different, but not totally different.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. Do we have any more thoughts on Furiosa? No?
I just think it's interesting that we got like a really good installment of a franchise that was much older, and then we got like the 2.5 hour slow version of that with Planet of the Apes and Furiosa.
Yeah.
So I was like, they don't have all the same issues. They've got a couple of them.
I don't know if I shared this, but I think they did this with Fury Road, releasing a black and white version. I don't know if I shared it on the page
Oh
on
yeah,
the
the shiny and chrome edition.
Yeah, and I'm like, my brain first went to like there are like I mean I guess you could figure it out, but like there are moments where like color like is kind of important. Like it
Yeah,
sort of helps and I'm like because there's like a like the red is a big color in the movie, but then there's like a shot thing that like it's important that it's not that color and that it's in fact like green or something, and I'm like you're not gonna be able to tell that. That's where my brain went.
yeah.
I was like,
Plus,
I don't know
For
if it'll
Fury
work.
Road.
No, for this one.
Oh, for this?
oh yeah,
I
yeah.
wouldn't use this black and white. Yeah, you're exactly right.
Right. No, I mean, there's a black and white version for Fury Road. Haven't watched it, but apparently it did okay. I don't see that working with this. So
Yeah.
that's one
Um,
thing I randomly remember.
Speaking of 2014 releases, so I'm just recapping my black and white releases
You
now.
mean last year?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Last year when we had the guys, are you excited for the all female Ghostbusters coming out soon? But anyway, uh,
Answer the call.
to my knowledge, Clint, you might remember more than me. Mad Max, Logan, Nightmare Alley, and Godzilla got theatrical black and white releases. Cannot think of another one.
Oh, Nightmare Alley. I forgot about that movie.
I
Uh,
missed it. I missed its black and white release. I would love to have seen it.
Yeah, me too.
uh, Poor Things was just partially in black and white, right?
I think so.
I never
So,
saw it. No
um,
regrets.
yeah, you never saw it.
I don't need to.
Yeah, it's one like I said, one of those hard movies to like really sell. Like, um,
The more people like Yorgos Lanthimos, the less I do. I love The Lobster, and I haven't liked anything else that he's done at all.
I know, right? I still have to. Do I have to
Favorite's
watch that?
fine.
Did he do Killing of the Sacred Deer?
Yes. What a freaking weird thriller. I owned it once and I got rid of it. I did not really. It was okay. Point being, so I think Logan is a great black and white cut. It changes like the tone of the movie and makes it really serious. Plus, you kind of harken back to like some old Western feelings, but especially it's just kind of it makes the movie feel like less emotional, and that works surprisingly well for it.
Mhm.
Godzilla and Nightmare Alley both are harkening back to their older black and white companions, and I think especially with like uh, I think Nightmare Alley works a little better from what I've seen of its black and white cut because it's just a gorgeous movie. Not that Godzilla is not a gorgeous movie, but it's a very different kind of tone to it. Mad Max has this wonderful, Fury Road has this wonderful, wonderful thing where almost every shot in that gorgeous movie is center frame so that nobody has to look too far to the left and right. And there was some intention, and I cannot remember the intention behind it, but I love it because everything happens and it's just right in the middle of the frame. It's the Bourne Ultimatum minus the shaky cam kind of focus, and it makes it less interesting in black and white because it's like Nightmare Alley. You're just kind of looking at like where the how framing and how separated things are. And part of Mad Max, I think, is how well you can use that orange color. And it's like when things are right in the middle, you're just kind of watching a black and white movie right in front of you. I think it takes the excitement out of it a lot. That's my thoughts on the black and white cut of 2014's Mad Max Fury Road.
Cool beans.
This will be our most watched video.
I hope so. For a lot of different years.
Yeah, really.
You
Uh,
should you should totally market this as our 1984 Ghostbusters review.
I'll write that down.
Yeah, right.
Write that down. Remember this in 20 years. Okay.
This will get lost in time. The internet will crash. It'll come back. Everyone will pull up, and all the videos will get uploaded at the same time, and nothing will have a stamp on it. People will have no idea what year this is.
This could be 1996. We don't know.
Could be. Could be. What a great Muppets movie. I can't wait for the next one.
The Office? Yeah. Who wants their stapler?
Oh gosh. Nice stapler.
My stapler. Anyway, I heard that was getting a series. I love how we go on these tangents.
It's gonna be a whole different story, so I'm on board for it. I'm on board for it.
I think he caught lightning in a bottle with that. Maybe I don't know if that you can.
Oh, I was
sustain
talking
it.
about Office Space. Sorry.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
then
I
you
was
said
gonna say.
series, and I was like, is he talking about you said stapler, and you kind of hit both right there. I was
Oh,
like, is
yeah.
he
Yeah,
combining
yeah.
the
I was
two?
Yeah,
like,
no,
Are we
I knew
playing
you
with
meant
what year
Office
we're
Space.
in?
No, when he that's what I'm like. Yeah, you caught lightning in a bottle with that kind of movie. Like it's so like dumb but like entertaining. Um,
One of my favorite movie plots ever.
and
yes.
It's just
I
stupid but
I
great
don't know if you
plots.
could sustain an entire show with that. I don't
No,
know.
probably not.
No,
Do a mockumentary Office Space.
yeah,
Marry the two.
that's right.
That's not a good idea.
Starring Steve Carell.
Just again, just the
Once
same.
again.
Both casts are together for no reason. Everyone's old.
Is that Ron Livingston? Who is that? We're stealing half penny from people.
Oh God, yeah.
All right. Cool. Well, that's everything on Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. What's up for next week? I know we're trying to hit the watchers, right?
Yeah, we're gonna try and watch Watchers. That's funny to say.
Nepotism is not a thing. I probably pronounced that right.
I
Nepotism,
I don't
not a thing at all.
I don't think that any of us are really that hyped to catch Bad Boys. Unless
Hey, we're three perfectly okay movies into a series that is longer than I thought it would be.
Amen.
So I think the
So,
next one will be probably fine, and we'll probably say it's fine.
Hey, remember when we made a 2.5 hour Bad Boys?
Which one was
was that the last one?
No, it was the second one.
That makes
Oh,
sense. That makes
I've
sense.
only ever because I don't care about the first two. I actually wanted to watch the third one, and so we caught that, and I'd never seen the other ones. I don't remember.
Oh, you have never seen the other ones?
Well,
Ryan is completely right. It is a series that had a good first one, and you're like, hey, this is kind of cool, I guess.
Yeah.
And then they're
But
like,
this is 2003, okay? This man just did Armageddon. You let him do whatever he wants, okay? Michael Bay's got such a career ahead of him. I heard Hasbro's in talks. It's gonna be great.
Oh my gosh.
yeah. Well, the first one was in '95, right? Something
I
like
think so, yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh gosh.
So the first, like, and I think it's just based on it. Like, they're doing these movies just based on their chemistry now because they're really good together, and I will fully admit that, and that's the only reason why I watch them is to watch the two of them bounce
Yeah.
off of each other. But it's just like the first and second one were decent. I don't know why we needed the 2.5 hour cut of Bad Boys 2. I mean, I thought it was fine.
Yeah,
It
really.
was-
In its
The villain-
defense,
but
I've watched that movie and I've learned that it was 2.5 hours a minute ago from you. So I don't actually think
I'm
it
gonna
feels
Google
like it's 2.5 hours.
I'm gonna Google this.
No, you're right. I looked at 2 hours 25 minutes on IMDb.
Yeah. Okay. So you already Googled it. Okay. So I was like,
Good for you, Mr.
Yeah.
Bay. That movie flies by.
Huh.
But like Ryan usually says about most like movies of that caliber, I think it was the villain. The villain was kind of dumb.
Yes,
He was
that one.
Yeah, it was just like, see, Ryan doesn't even remember. See,
Couldn't tell you anything about the villain of this movie.
I
Is it Hector Juan Carlos?
I think it was a
that
good
sounds
boy.
right.
Is it
Or
Peter
Bad Boy.
Stormare as
Good boy.
Alexi?
Right.
Is Michael Shannon in this movie? I do
Michael
not remember
Shannon
Bad
is
Boys 2 at all.
Michael Shannon is in this movie. It is like really at the because he was in the army. No, Pearl Harbor, and then
The character or the actor?
the actor.
Yeah.
Yes, the character was in both Pearl Harbor and Bad Boys 2.
As I said it.
When they say based on a true story, it is could be based on a true story that we told once.
That's awesome.
So Michael Bay was like, "Here, Michael Shannon, be in my movie," and they were like, "Okay, cool."
Gosh, I
But yeah,
forgot about
see
the
you in
movie
that
Pearl
movie.
Harbor.
But I didn't like the third one because at least like the first two had like some sort of interesting plot. Like
Right.
this third one was weird. But again, it was because of the two of them. And I think that's the only reason why I watched this fourth one.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is 20, 30 years later, and why aren't you guys retired yet?
Because Will Smith's like,
Because
hey, remember?
because Will Smith.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
About to
I
say
think
the
we're
same
going the same
thing,
place here.
Alex.
I think we're pretty much going the same place here. Yeah, he needs his reputation to kind
He
of.
does.
He needs to kind of straighten that back out. He kind of deviated a
Well,
little.
I mean, in
It's
this
funny.
movie,
It's
he can slap anybody he wants.
Wait a second, I've seen that before.
it's funny. It's like when you look back and you're like, how long does it take to make a movie? When was this put into production? It like perfectly lines up at like the 2 year mark of like a long movie stake.
If
It's
they
great.
have a moment in Bad Boys that I hear about later on where Chris Rock is in it, I
They
will
just
go to see
do
it.
the whole scene.
I will
But
go to it just for that. Just for that. Like, I mean, they're probably gonna be like, man, you look like you got a slappable face or something like that.
I'm sure it'll be just like that. I'm sure that will happen in the movie that I'm sure Will Smith is producing.
Yeah, something like that. He's probably like, nah, let's not do that, guys. Let's not do
He
that.
went around and just slapped anybody who suggested it.
Yeah, hey you. Yeah, I know, really. If we get wind that that's a thing, I'm going to it. I'm going to sit down all two and however long it is
I
just
think
to
it's
watch
only.
that.
I don't think it's very long.
Oh, this new one?
Yeah.
Probably not.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So the
2 hours.
Watchers is going to be next week. Watching the Watchers. Watch us. Watch the Watchers.
Watch us talk about watching the Watchers.
Yeah. Unless Ryan, do you have anything else?
No, but I also think we should talk about Casablanca next week. Because we haven't gotten back to 45 yet. So I mean we're in 84. Let's just keep going.
This gag will never end.
We're all gonna forget it next week.
Well, you need to go back to watching your classics. Remember?
Oh yeah, I
You
forgot
do.
about-
Yeah, you do. You do.
Put the Final Fantasy down.
Nope.
Godzilla 45.
Game's ruining my life.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I
Oh,
think
yeah.
that was the classic you were supposed to watch.
Oh yeah.
The original.
Well, I guess it's actually a good time to do that because now -1 is on streaming, and so I can
Yeah.
kind of make it relevant.
See, there you go.
Yeah. Now we need the physical edition, so then my life will be complete. Of the
I was gonna say,
of Godzilla -1.
his anniversary's tomorrow.
Ah, yeah, I know, right?
Thought his life was complete.
Oh, actually, if you ever watch these, which is probably rare,
I am Godzilla.
Buy him
That's what he's
Godzilla.
saying.
I am
I am
Godzilla.
Godzilla -1.
That will be the best anniversary present ever. Probably next year.
You won't wait till next year.
It's not. They're not gonna release any physical thing for a while. Although, I mean, none of us even thought that of Netflix. You know, like, hey, have this now. Was on the. I was
I thought it was gonna be on Prime.
evidently not.
No.
I mean, I can technically buy it, but on digital, and I'm not about that right now. Need to have that physical.
I mean, when are we gonna get The Boy and the Heron on streaming?
Never.
Never?
Studio Ghibli doesn't like to license. If I'm not mistaken, I doubt. Whoever owns G Kids, maybe, but I don't think they do a lot of licensing right now. I mean, maybe they'll license to like Crunchyroll, but
Actually, I
I
think they're
don't
supposed to be licensed to Max, to HBO.
really now. I want to
Yeah,
know
yeah, they are
why.
because
Google it, Ryan.
yeah, I'm pretty sure they are because like you can pretty much find any of those Ghibli films right
Yeah,
on there.
you can find a lot of them, except for Grave of the Fireflies, which somebody needs to watch too.
Yeah, need to watch that depressing.
Yeah. This was back in 2019. I am a little bit behind about HBO's acquiring U.S. streaming rights to Studio Ghibli. Clearly, I don't scroll through Max. I just don't do it. I own too many physical movies because I'm living in 2005 and I don't scroll through things.
Right. Yeah, streaming's not a thing yet.
With your new DVD copy of Batman Begins.
I know, right? And we can all watch
My
them.
Batman Begins is on Blu-ray, sir, which did not exist in 2005, if
We
I'm
can
not
all
mistaken.
watch them on our brand new PS2.
Man of the future. All right.
Oh, we can watch it on my PS2. I was just playing GoldenEye on the N64, and maybe I'm just confused about what year it is.
Oh man.
Could be any timeless. This video is timeless, apparently. All right. Do we have anything else to say? No? All right. Tune in next week for the watchers. Please give a like and a subscribe. And see you next week.